cat don't let me sleep in. Plus, I'm old and I can't sleep in anymore. But
well, that and then because the nephew's in the house, there's a lot of like side shit that I don't expect. They're like, oh, can you watch him for like an hour and a half? And I'm like, okay. And then it turns into 2 hours.
Anyway, what's up to this Terrell and Juice opinions? T's gonna be here in a little bit, but Robert needed to sleep and Retro Death couldn't make it. I forget why. And
he has a cover for a colleague for work, I think.
Yeah. And then clocked it, he's we gotta figure something out to get him back on. So
move it to Tuesday.
Everybody left. So it's just us two. Like, nope, I'm out. Terrell's eating pizza. It's just Juice talking. I'm out. So
hey, look, at least it's not in a bowl this time. I know how you had this whole thing like everything I eat out of a bowl.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Just put that shit in a bowl. What's up, Royal Hustler? Yeah, this tough to come up with topics when there not a lot of shit of note happened other than the state of play, which didn't really have any super exciting announcements.
The most exciting thing.
What's up, Lenny?
The most exciting thing was the Star Ocean reveal, which wasn't even the last announcement.
I've heard that name before. I'll tell you that. I was at work and I didn't have the best internet connection, so I had to put it on 144p. I haven't rewatched any of it. I saw the whole state of play at 144p and it was pausing. Plus I was working, so I missed that. I did notice something looked like Xenoblade Chronicles X a little bit out of the corner of my eye, but we got a little busy and then I didn't rewatch it. So what's up, Matthew?
Also, hey T.
What's up, T?
The Star Ocean was like the only thing of note I remembered because I blacked out like halfway through.
There was a free to play. It looked like it was like a multiplayer focused segment. There was one that I thought looked somewhat impressive and could be fun with a group, but that was the only other thing. And then what was it? King of Fighters 15? Was that a new game?
No, yeah, King of Fighters 15 is a new game. They announced another, I think, some characters, and then when the game actually comes out, yeah, that game that's new.
Because I was like, oh, I don't know what this is, but it looks like a solid fighter, because I don't know any of the characters from that series.
Yeah, that's KOF.
And then 15. I was like, oh, okay, that looks. I knew that was the Star Ocean footage. Yeah. I was just trying to point out that I didn't go back and rewatch anything.
I'm skimming through right now.
Robert tweeted though that if nothing piqued your interest, he doesn't understand you. And I said, well, you don't understand me because what do you call pique your interest? Seeing, oh, that looks like a solid fighter. I'm not going to play it, but that looks solid. Is that piquing my interest? I don't think it is. For me, it wasn't.
It was a lot of like budget titles.
T, you're muted.
Yeah, you are muted, T.
In Discord.
Yeah. Sorry.
Got that PSVR in the background. It's looking better back there. It's looking nice.
He's all swagged out, ladies and gentlemen.
N64 boxes. Looks like they're in plastic cases because I see some nice reflections.
So I'm skimming through the state of play. I see DLC for Bugsnax, Five Nights at Freddy gameplay.
Yeah, I tuned out of that one. I didn't even see what the game was, like gameplay wise.
Is
that the one they showcased like at the PlayStation event that actually used like ray tracing? What was that?
He fell.
He just fell out of his chair.
Yeah.
My hip! I broke my hip.
What the fuck?
God damn it!
That threw me so much off. His wife's like, "What happened?" I don't know, man.
Oh, he spilled the drink. I hate spilling, man. I fucking hate spilling shit.
That is the funniest shit.
highlight of the podcast right there.
It threw me off because I didn't expect it.
I did think that the Devil Inside Me art style looks really cool still. I don't know about the game though. I don't know what I watched.
I don't understand why they ended the show with it. I think Star Ocean's a bigger surprise.
They already showed that game before, and it's like, what am I watching? Like, this doesn't. I don't know if this is gameplay or.
It seems like an action adventure game. It's kind of like it seems like it has like Witcher style, like survival type combat.
Like I said, I didn't rewatch any of it, so I had to check.
I'm skimming now. You got this chibi kart racer.
Yeah, that looked like
That's
that's a free to play, I believe.
yes, it is.
So I cut it some
Uh,
slack for looking like it does.
then
But
you got King of Fighters right after that.
I mean, it
Uh,
was like what a Nintendo Direct Mini equivalent with an indie showcase kind of combined. Like it wasn't.
yeah,
And I said to Robert and I said it in the chat. I was like, what are they just had the showcase like a month and a half ago. They showed 18 games and a lot of big announcements. Like, what are they gonna show? I'm gonna judge this like I judged the last Nintendo Direct. Why are we getting this right now? What are you
you know,
showing that makes it worth having right now?
I know what the problem with the little devil inside was. One, it was like 5 minutes of footage. It took up way longer than it really needed to, and then two, they didn't even announce a date. We just know it's 2022. That's it.
Okay.
And people were like, "Why'd you spend all this? You got all this footage for it, but you don't have a release date for it yet? Like, all right, why show it now?
Hi guys.
You all right, buddy?
Tip over your margarita.
Is everything
I
dry
karate
over
kicked
there?
that bitch across the room. What the fuck?
Yeah, all this
Kick the
pent up
shit out of
aggression.
Well, there goes that drink. We talking state of play?
Yeah,
Yeah, just trying to run through it. It was. I mean, I don't think there's anything negative of just about saying. I mean, it wasn't like a major show. I should have been like a state of play mini or something. It's they didn't have a lot of they kind of blew their wad on the PlayStation showcase a month and a half ago. They didn't really have anything. I thought maybe there would be like more info on the Uncharted collection. That was about the only thing I actually expected. Big games, but it's not a big game. And they didn't, really didn't cover much of anything, really.
most of those things could have been done as like separate trailers,
Yeah.
just throughout casually during.
It felt pretty unnecessary. That's why I give it like a D would be my score. Not that they showed terrible looking games or anything. It's just like why did you have this state of play? It just really didn't make sense. I mean, nothing was coming out soon.
Because they needed another state of play, man. Before the
Yeah, but they didn't have anything like really, to remind people of, hey, this game's coming out. It was mostly 2022 stuff. So it was just weird timing, and if you're not gonna have anything major, I guess it was just weird. I mean, like I said, it wasn't like, oh my god, those games look terrible. It just felt kind of pointless to me.
Yeah, that's
they weren't state of play worthy. They weren't.
It was like individual trailer where like that could have been just a, because I was subscribed to PlayStation for a little bit there, and they upload launch day trailers and trailers for games I've never even heard of that are like coming out. It's because there's a lot of indie games in there, but there's a lot of each day I had to unsubscribe because each day there's like 20 trailers.
There is
coming out, and it's like, Jesus, man, my feed was just full. And there was one really cool looking one right after that showcase it was like a multiplayer type game, but it actually looked really cool. So yeah, I don't know. It was it is what it is. It's like,
it's like an inoffensive. Why is this here?
And the weird thing, as a PS5 owner and stuff, with some of the issues they've had with like the pricing of games, or where they kind of came back on the horizon. You get the free upgrade. Some of the some of the other stuff people have been kind of questioning. They don't ever just come out. They don't ever address any of that stuff. They just like ignore that. Here's some games. They've never. They did a separate video when they had that last update for the PS5. And, just to showcase a few new features and stuff. And it went off without a hitch. There's no issues, but they really don't talk about anything. Like they could do some of that good PR, like when they undid the PlayStation Store closing for the PS3, or they fixed the CMOS battery situation. I'm just kind of surprised they don't come out and kind of like make that address that as like, hey, because there's, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people watching those live. Like, you know, they could actually do themselves a favor and say, hey, we fixed, this was a problem, we fixed it, we took care of you guys. You know, they could talk themselves up, but they just kind of just, here's some games, you know. It's kind of a weird that they keep that completely separate. They never discuss anything business related, system related. And then the weird thing is they had that state of play, and then Returnal comes out with this pretty major update for anybody who owns the game, and it wasn't even part of the state of play. They added the suspend. You can suspend the cycle now and turn the game off, put another game in, come back and resume where you were. I mean, I know the game kind of it's past its prime as far as popularity, but that was a nice update. They added a really cool photo mode. That could have been in the state of play, and it was just randomly thrown out there, 1 minute trailer. It's just kind of weird, because I think that would have been a state of play worthy.
Yeah, it kind of just exists. It's nothing offensive. It just it's just there, and that's, I mean, it's one of those things that, like I said, you could have just put trailers out for most of the stuff, and I think you would have been fine. To me, the only two things that really deserved an announcement would probably be, I think Star Ocean would be the only thing, and that's only because, and that's only a niche fan base, to be fair, but like, that's the only thing of worth note.
I will address Lenny. I don't, especially state of plays, I really don't go in with expectations. And I kind of tried it out to go into just me personally. I'm not telling anybody how to go. State of Play gets announced. It really doesn't get me pumped. It never has, even though I've very much enjoyed the PS4 and I'm enjoying the PS5. I don't.
Because you're a Nintendo bitch.
Yeah, but I don't see a State of Play and like, oh, that's the PlayStation Showcase on the other hand. I was like, okay, they named this something different. Is this like their E3? And yeah, they had like more major announcements there, but I still don't get like all geeked up for that stuff.
Yeah, to me it has to. I guess the Nintendo bias is real, the way I always look at it, because like for direct
franchise?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say, what franchise gets you excited on PlayStation?
Nothing
that we don't already know a new game's coming, like, you know, but it still doesn't get me that excited. Like the God of War Ragnarok, yeah, I'm gonna play that, but I'm not. It's not the same as like one of my favorite Nintendo franchises or anything. Like there's not the same level of excitement. So for me, a cool excitement, even though I think the studio's done, would be like a new MotorStorm, like something like that. Would be, oh, that's really cool. You know, kind of like Wave Race for Nintendo. Like that would be cool. You know, they could go back to its roots. Really take, you know, the visuals be the highlight plus the physics, because that was the first game. Was the physics were the big selling point, and then they went to more of an arcade style racer with the second and third game, and I didn't care for those as much. So that would be cool, but you know, outside of a new Uncharted game, I don't know what's left they could announce to get the majority of Sony fans like super excited.
Yeah, honestly, there was nothing else you could have. It would have to be one of those things where, like, here's the first look at
or
a new
Bloodborne
game,
2.
Yeah, they'd have to drop something like, okay, Bloodborne 2, or something like, you know, out of nowhere Horizon. You know, like, what the fuck? Oh, that's Guerrilla Games? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
something like that.
Like, Housemarque's too new, their acquisition, and then the other acquisition was Insomniac. So we already know all their.
Or they can announce that Japan studio isn't closed. It's coming back. That would be exciting.
Didn't they recently announce that like they actually have a division dedicated to like PC ports?
They just announced.
Oh yeah,
PlayStation PC division. Yeah. I don't know what it details, but I know they've had some issues with ports. The Horizon port still doesn't run great, but it definitely didn't at launch, even on the highest end setups. It had hitches and weird issues. Certain features weren't working properly, and it wasn't running very good at all. And
better on PlayStation, bitch.
And literally the PS4 version was a better option, you know, even if you had, unless you were like a modder. I was gonna link the video. I don't know if you guys care about this stuff. There's a channel, they take just games and somehow they add full ray tracing and put them in 8K, which the 8K part's not that important, but like they take these games and they add, global illumination and reflective objects and like full ray tracing, and they transform some games just by adding lighting and reflections completely transforms how games look. Not every area, like some areas look better than none. They did it for Breath of the Wild. They did it for Horizon. They did another one. It was an older game and it just looked absolutely phenomenal. Like it was a last gen. Was it a last? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an early last gen game. And I was like, holy shit! Like that looks as good as any of the games, the quote unquote next gen games we've seen coming out. And they did that for Horizon. And I was like, holy shit! Like so, I don't know how it was running well. So that whatever they did, they modded the game obviously, and it was running really well with these ridiculous settings, and it looked fucking like incredible in one area. It was just like amazing. So I think it's just something to do. I don't know, with the porting process. There's stuff that hackers and modders can fix. So it's like why do they have to fix it?
My question is more so, how far do you think Sony's gonna play in the PC market? Like, is it just occasional games, or like are they going?
Well, if they've created a new division or a specific PC division, I would expect from this point forward to see most of their games, if not all their games, their first. You think party. I don't think they'll. I'm not talk. I don't know if they'll be day and date. Is T talking to us or something?
No, he's on somebody else.
Oh, I don't know if they'll ever be day and date, but they still haven't. There's still some back catalog games they could put out from the PS4 generation.
That's true. That's why I was curious. Like when you make a division, like that tells me you want to at least invest into it to a degree. But like, how deep is that rabbit hole go? Like, are you gonna focus on PlayStation 4 games? Are you gonna push PS5 games? Are you gonna try to put your back catalog on PC? So it's like, oh, shit.
Well,
my son's phone is in here charging.
Well, here's the thing. If they're going to like get super serious with it and like put games out day and date, I'd almost be curious if they would consider trying to do their own launcher, their own store. But that nobody has been able to pull that off except Epic. And Epic's, what'd they say, not going to make money till 2030 or something, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
As much as it's weird, the PC gamers are very set in their ways. I know there's a lot of young people getting in now that don't care.
Did they actually say 2030?
It was a long time. It was like 10 years or something. It was ridiculous.
I'll look it up while you're talking.
Christ.
So
they're really
so
jeez.
Ubisoft, that's a big company. They tried Uplay. Well, they even did it so you could still buy the game on Steam. So you still have your game catalog and your friends list on Steam, but it booted through Uplay via, you double click it on Steam, it would boot up Uplay and play the game. That didn't even work. I worked with a guy for years, biggest Microsoft fanboy I've ever known. He had a Windows phone until about 2.5 years ago. He was trying to keep that alive, trying to talk people into getting Windows phones. And
also, it's apparently it's 2027 is supposedly what they said.
Oh,
yeah, that's close.
Years less.
that's still pretty fucking bad.
Because that's how much money they have to invest to try to get people away from Steam. The long story short,
good luck.
Friend of mine, he's the biggest Microsoft fanboy. Like I said, it was hard to get him to give up on the Windows phone. He won't even use the Windows 10 fucking store for his games. He just won't use it. He doesn't. It ain't his Steam, and it ain't. He plays through BattleNet for not Bethesda, but Blizzard games, and he's got 10, 15, whatever how many years Steam's been out worth of games, and all his friends list on there. He won't do Epic. He only did Uplay because some of his friends played Division 2. But like I said, you can still buy the game on Steam. It's still in your library. You just have to have a Uplay account to like play it online or something.
Yeah.
They're very... it's just weird that... so Sony's going to have a tough time trying to have like their own launcher. and try to. So they're either gonna just at this point, I know that Epic definitely they have their games on. I'm not sure if they have any on Steam or if it's delayed,
No,
but
it's only on Epic most of
it's
the time.
only on Epic. So that's
Yeah. Now,
I
give
don't
an
know,
example.
man.
Give an example. Kingdom Hearts. That's only on Epic Game Store. It's on PC, but you have to get it through the Epic Game Store. You can't play it on
What
Steam.
else? I think Horizon's on. I keep seeing Horizons. Let me check.
There's a
Steam.
couple of titles. There's a couple of titles that are like
Steam.
Epic Games specific.
Forza Horizon. Horizon's on Steam.
Yeah,
And,
well, Horizon. Yeah, I think Sony just went straight to Steam. When
Death
they did theirs.
Stranding.
Do they expect to keep making money on?
Death Stranding
What?
is on there.
Do they expect to keep making money on Fortnite until then?
Epic.
That seems to have fallen off to a degree, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Like it's not like dead by any means.
I'm sure they're I mean,
kids don't even play it anymore.
Fortnite's probably carried them beyond, but they're probably looking at Epic itself, the Epic launcher itself, profitable.
Yeah.
You know, like
no, I mean that they're waiting until 2027.
Well, that's what they figured.
Basically.
Yeah, that's what they figured it would.
So what I'm saying is they're going to be, losing money on it up until that point at least. Are they expecting to recoup that revenue with Fortnite for the next 7 years or whatever? Like,
I don't think Fortnite's not gonna last.
I mean, I guess they have the engine, right? So
yeah, they have the Unreal Engine coming out, and the Unreal Engine 5 already in developers' hands.
Right.
And movies and TV shows are using Unreal now.
Yeah, that's true.
So they got some money, but I just think as a separate division, I think that's what they meant, like the actual to have money, making more money than they're spending just from people purchasing games and purchasing, microtransactions.
I haven't purchased shit on there.
They keep giving free games. I downloaded Control.
Like free games.
I played about an hour, maybe 2 hours into Control on Epic. I have
Did they give that away?
Yeah, they gave that away. And if you had the rig for it, it's the you get the basically the Ultimate Edition. As far as the enhancements, I don't know about the DLC, but so for Sony, I think if it was me, I would just be like, why did my camera go blurry?
You got too far away from the camera.
If I was Sony, I would just
using it.
I would unless Epic's paying like extra, I would
actually, Donnie brought it up. Apparently, if developers put their stuff on Epic Game Store, they get a bigger cut of the profits.
Okay.
Which I think,
either way,
which I think is the push. They're like, we'll put it on Epic before you put it on Steam.
Well, here's the thing, though. You get a big cut of profits, but ain't nobody buying your shit.
There's
from
less
Epic,
people buying it, probably.
There's less people buying that shit, so it's like, okay.
So if it was me, I'd be like, all right, we're going to put our games out, and we'll put them on Steam and Epic and wherever else you can sell the game. They must be doing okay, otherwise I don't think they'd keep doing it.
Well, they've only done like 4 or 5 games at this point. I think
God of War's just got announced recently. That's coming early next year, I think, or maybe next month.
I thought it was early next year. Maybe I'm wrong.
But
yeah, God of War, Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima. Or am I tripping?
No, that wasn't.
It's Uncharted. That's what I'm thinking of.
The new one, the Uncharted collection. They specifically said PC.
And then I feel like I'm missing a game. Or am I wrong? Or maybe it's just a couple.
Was Bloodborne? I know is a wish list game. I don't know if that was actually announced.
Yeah, that wasn't confirmed or anything.
No, that one's gonna be in. I wish hell for like a while, probably.
I know
I thought something was registered or something recently that made
there were talks. There have been talks supposedly. Like it's kicked back up again, but nothing's been confirmed.
Well, you can on PS5. There's a way to get it a 60 frames per second mod. I don't know what it takes. I didn't watch the video because probably
gotta hack your. I would think you would have to hack your.
I don't think you have to hack shit. I don't think you hacked the PS5. Somehow they did it in.
On PS5.
Yeah, play it on PS5. It's the PS4 version, but it actually runs at a higher resolution and 60. And it's like, if people can do this, if these modders and hackers can do all this shit, I said the same thing about Nintendo and the Switch. Like, just do it. So, like, what the fuck? If these people can do it for nothing, you can't you can't put this stuff out. Like people.
Well, Sony, I'm more surprised about because Nintendo's always been fucking weird about how they handle their shit. Sony's usually pretty consistent about like handling their stuff.
They can't even get their 25-year-old games to work on the new system. So
yeah.
So what you want from Nintendo?
But since you
people found out why that is apparently. Supposedly they use the emulator that they use for
Wii U. Right?
No, I thought it was they used the Mario.
I was just guessing.
The Mario 64 emulator for the Mario collection, and they use that like as their main N64 emulator for the whole.
But Mario 64 isn't the same as it is on that collection. So how is it the same emulator?
Because it has different parameters than it was supposed to.
And Mario 64 is much cleaner and shit than the N64 version.
It handled Mario for the most part. Mario handled it probably the best, but like if you looked at Zelda, they fucked that up.
As far as I'm concerned, that shit's unplayable in that form.
Well, I seen one shot where I was like, the fog looked fine, and early on in the Deku, around the Deku tree and stuff.
The fog is there for a reason, but hiding them that one texture tree is the reason that shit's
those Pokemon
there,
trees.
Sword and Shield trees. We're not doing this again.
But we'll get into that in a little bit. I just wanted to finish up the Sony PC thing because there's a weird, and I guess I get it because maybe I was like that about Nintendo at one point. I don't understand the diehard ponies getting mad that, you know, these, so far it's all been older games other than Death Stranding, which Sony doesn't own. That's published by a different 505 Games or something on PC. So I don't understand at this point, unless they're really worried that they're but I don't understand
because Sony,
these old games coming to PC. I'm just gonna leave it at the old game part.
For Sony, this is, remember, between the Xbox and the ponies, like that was their claim to fame. That
can I go in on this, please?
No, I'll give you.
Go ahead.
But
I'm not saying I don't know the story. I'm just saying I don't get them in the mind of these people.
You gotta understand, ponies have been doing this pretty much since the Xbox One generation with the PS4. And they were like, I can buy your games on my PC. And then, bruh,
the Phantom PCs.
Yeah, the Phantom PCs. And then all of a sudden, you turn the corner.
So they're butthurt because they're eating crow. They've been talking.
And it's funny because the Xbox during the diehards, especially during Xbox One, when stuff started to slowly show up on PC as well, and they started that whole console exclusive, all that stuff. Xbox are starting to get really upset and frustrated. Man, this is bullshit. There's one notorious crap Xbox turned pony now. He started off a Xbox hardcore. He was like going at Phil Spencer slapped his hand about something. What was it about? Because he didn't like the fact that what's the game I recently played?
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. He didn't like the fact that Quantum Break was going to PC as well, and he was upset about it, and it was on Twitter. And then Phil Spencer addressed him personally. It was like, I don't understand why people are upset that more people can play games. Basically, he's been pissed off, upset ever since then. He slowly turned into a pony. He went full pony after that, right? And now, he went into the, you guys have games on PC and blah, blah, blah. And now it's starting to happen on that side.
That's funny.
It's the funniest thing to watch.
I'm glad.
Now he's having to backpedal with that shit too. And I'm like, that's why you don't do that shit.
And why does
eventually the stuff you make fun of other people about is going to come to you. And to watch him go from side to side and have to deal with the same
that's like,
situations is hilarious.
That's funny, dude.
Have to take that L. He's going
I'm trying to remember back. Obviously, it's hard to know exactly. All I can do is tell you what I remember feeling when that Quantum Break announcement came. And I know Terrell's kind of been on this. He's like, well, I don't need to buy an Xbox. Every E3, well, these are all coming to PC. They're not giving me a reason to buy an Xbox console. And if the company's trying to sell you an Xbox console, that's bad. But the fact they don't, at this point, it's pretty obvious they're trying to sell you on their services and stuff. This console's not, I don't even know if it's secondary. If Sony's still really trying to sell consoles as their main thing, then this is a weird strategy if they start putting like games day and date.
Well, see, and it was weird because Sony's making money. That was the weird. That's why it always confused me from their perspective. Like Xbox, I understood that we're losing money on the console, had a really bad fucking generation, and they were already kind of going in this direction during the Xbox.
Plus, they own Windows, you know.
Yeah, and they own Windows, so they're still winning regardless. Sony, I'm just kind of like, well, PlayStation 4 is what saved your fucking brand through that generation. That was like the only department for a while that was making any money. So why would you all of a sudden think that putting them on PC does anything for you? I mean, obviously you'll get revenue, but like, is it worth the brand hit to a degree?
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how they do it, because these games are past their selling point on the PlayStation console. So if you put it on PC, Horizon launched at, I don't know if it was 60 or not, maybe it was 40 or 60. You get maybe a second life out of these games. If that's your strategy, that's fine. But if you start doing day and date, then that's going to be what is your strategy? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I don't see how it benefits Sony. I mean, obviously Xbox, they've been doing it for a while. They've cultivated the whole Game Pass situation, but Sony doesn't have that. It's just like, oh, we can make a quick buck on a game we sold 3 years ago on our system. You know, like, the thing is, here's the thing though. People got to understand, as far as like buy your console, you're really only doing that with PC dudes. Like, oh, okay, I have to also buy a PlayStation to play their exclusives, or I have to also buy a Nintendo to play their exclusive. Because everybody else, you're not gonna. If you start putting stuff on PC, even day and date stuff, it's not like a console gamer is going to automatically become a PC dude now. Like, that's not going to happen. Console guys are still going to want their damn box.
Right.
And, you know, and then all you're doing is you're also feeding the PC dudes at the same time. So I don't think it's a big risk. For the only person I think would be a risk, or the only company I think it would be a risk for is Nintendo, because nobody likes Nintendo hardware. Nobody likes. So if Nintendo started putting stuff on PC, they'd be in trouble. I think, as far as selling console.
I could see
a lot of people.
I could see Nintendo fans putting. You don't even have to put a very high. You could go to Best Buy and buy a pre-built fucking HP with a gaming card and, you know, a graphics card and a gaming laptop, and you're already significantly ahead of the Switch. You know, it's like the difference between that and then trying to have a PC equivalent to the Series X or PS5. That's a different story. You know, like
the irony for me. The irony for me though is if let's say Sony does day and date. Hell, let's say Nintendo does day and date. The main appeal for Nintendo, at least for me, always is that they do end up having unique hardware that covers multiple like for example, the Switch, at least until the Steam Deck comes out, currently is still like that handheld. Like, I can still play console games on the go, whereas like a PlayStation 5 is literally just kind of a PC.
It's just it's basically a PC.
Just to format it to like PlayStation games. So if PlayStation went full PC and I already own a PC, I'm not as inclined to like it. To me, it would devalue like a PlayStation console. It may not be on like a huge hit, but over time, if you get like another generation and every game's on PC, it's kind of like, well, especially because a lot of third party. Yeah. You give me one good generation where everything's on PC, I'm kind of like, really
I might start buying PCs. I mean, I might buy your console, son.
I think that's the issue. It's not like it won't be an issue now, but if you went a whole generation like God of War, Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West day and date on PC, and that kept up for the next like 3 to 4 years, right? I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really care about buying your next console if you're doing all this, because I can play the better version of your game, provided they all have decent ports to PC.
Right now, that's not a guarantee, but
yeah, you're right.
You would hope so. You would hope so.
I would say one good generation. Go ahead, G.
No, I was just gonna say the only thing that would make me completely be like, all right, I ain't buying your console, is if you stop selling physical games. If you stop selling physical media on the consoles, then I'd be like, what's the point? I'm out. You know, I don't need this box anymore because I'll just buy the digital thing on my computer at that point. So
well, here's the
that's the one thing.
here's the threshold for me, and I think there's a lot of console gamers probably feel the same way. Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, yeah, I don't think Xbox cares as much, but they need to. If there's ever a situation where I can just pick this up, I'm in my living room, I have my PC there, hit a button, turns my TV on, turns my, right now like the PS5, turns everything on, and then I hit A and I resume my game, without doing anything else. If PC ever got to that for me means more than anything else. Like games, I don't care what games you want to throw on PC. If I still have to have a keyboard and still boot up, go through all these freaking updates and driver updates and AMD, NVIDIA updates, Windows updates, have a wireless keyboard, mouse in my living room, and fucking do all that. That to me has always been the deal breaker. Every time I've hooked my PC up to my TV, that's the deal breaker. It's like, and plus, like trying to read text that on a 4K resolution when you're sitting 10 feet from your couch, you got to put it at like 300% just to be able to see anything. So it's just, until it gets to that point, I don't give a shit what games put on there. I'm not going to have a PC in my living room, unless that happens. So I know Steam Deck, they said that's after they got the initial idea and got the prototypes and people had hands on, they said, I seen an article where they're like, yeah, we need to focus on the controller operation, controller only operation. If this thing's hooked up to your TV and you're on your couch, you pick up a controller. That's what they've been working on and said was a goal, to make that more seamless. So that they didn't specifically say for console gamers, but it was obvious that's what they were trying to do. Like basically revamp the big picture mode, revamp the whole thing so you can just pick up your controller and just go. You don't need the keyboard and mouse thing, to get where you need to go. You don't got to double click, bring up Steam, just have it right there ready to go, and you just pick a game and play. And that's, to me, is the big disadvantage of PC. Now, somebody like Terrell, Robert, T, I don't know if you're gaming exclusively in there, but when you're gaming in the same spot, your PC and your consoles are all hooked up right in the same spot. That's different.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's way different, But
that's the appeal. Like, I'm like right here, so my brain's kind of like, well, I could either cut on my PS5 potentially, or I could just open up Steam and play the game. And it's like, at that point,
when you get a house and you got like a living room, and you probably won't be streaming in your living room. Your PC is probably gonna be in a different room. You might have a different perspective, but so there's definitely
a lot of gamers today have this type of shit going on. They have because
they see streamers do it that way, so that's what they do. That's their setup. And a lot of people are trying to they're streaming even though no one's watching. You go to Twitch at any moment and search a game, and there's just thousands, hundreds, of people with 1 or 2 viewers, 10 viewers, 50 viewers, some 10,000, you got the big ones with, huge numbers, and it's just kind of the accepted like way to game for a lot of people now. I know Girlfriend Reviews just did they just kind of showed their new setup, and they had to basically take a spare bedroom and convert that into a mini living room, so that they didn't have to move their mics and all their time anytime they wanted to be comfortable in their living room but stream. So basically they created a second living room just with all their mics, their computers, everything in there, so they can still kind of have that comfortable, we're gaming on the couch feeling, but easily be streaming. And I think I'm actually considering for Forza Horizon and Halo Infinite. I was like, man, I'm going to put my PC upstairs. That's how I'm going to play. But then I'm like, God, we got during the podcast, so what am I going to do? How am I going to have my mic? So I'm going to try to figure something out, because I definitely would like to experience those games on my TV. And I'm not going to play them on the Xbox One S. I'm sorry. Call me a graphics whore, what you will. I'm not playing Forza Horizon 5 on the One S. I still have it. It hasn't been turned on in 6 months. I ain't playing it at 30. I ain't playing it at whatever 720p I think it is. I'm just not.
I can't blame you. It's like, why would you do it? Why?
I'm surprised you still have it, honestly.
I keep telling myself I'm gonna post it, for like $250. I gotta find out. My goal is because I'm gonna need a new controller here. Mine's starting to break again. I'm gonna buy the newest Xbox controller. I'm gonna see if my battery packs work in it. If they do, I'm gonna keep it. If they don't, I'm gonna bundle the Xbox One S with 2 controllers and that two recharging packs with a charger. I'm gonna put it for like $280 or something, and see, maybe even $300. I don't know, and see what kind of offers I get. But
you might get some for that, especially because
you might.
The thing looks brand new. I bet gaming hours on it under 100, probably maybe 100, and then I just did some Twitch and other streaming viewing on it. Probably another 100 on that way. Maybe not
because
even.
at that point it's just sitting in your house.
It's just sitting there unplugged, because even when it's in standby, it makes that hard drive spinning like constantly. So I just unplugged it, so it's just sitting there. And then if I had the inkling to play, like, oh, I want to play, I know I got an hour worth of updates. Yeah,
Boo, get out
I got
of
at least an hour worth of updates to go through for all the games and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I think we covered that, basically everything we could say on that. And T brought up the N64 emulation, so we might as well get into that too. I've heard, I've heard bad and good. I've heard, even what color is it? My Xbox, it's the white one, 1 terabyte. It's like brand new. I didn't think the 1S only comes in 1 color. I've only seen
I've only seen it in white. I was gonna say the worst game I've seen on the emulator has been Zelda. Zelda's the worst I've seen. I've seen some weird issues like with Yoshi. The audio's desynced some points and it fucks up the. Granted, I think most of that's online. I think the online shit has been the worst. If you're just playing the games, it's not really like, for a casual, you won't really notice most of those things. Zelda, I think, is probably the only one where it's like kind of glaring. Everything else is kind of like either okay or like mediocre. But the point is like how you fucking up 64.
Yeah, but what's gonna happen when you start getting into like more expansion pack stuff? Especially,
because people data mined it already. And
that's the other thing. There's like 38 games total for the N64 in there.
The most interesting thing that happened.
That's good.
If you got 38 games playing, I imagine
if that all came out in the first year, then I'd be like, all right. But if that's like their lifetime goal, then I'm like, that's a little light. But
well, there was only 26 on Wii U as far as virtual console goes. Was it even that many?
Damn.
It wasn't that many.
That's all right. All right. No, that's an improvement technically.
That's an improvement.
I very much am in the camp of, I'm gonna give you a year and I'm gonna watch you and see what you do. because I'm not at this point. You don't get day one anymore with shit, like, at least especially online shit.
What do you feel about the controller layout? Did anybody watch like the actual default button layout where the A and B are weird, swapped, and then it's wonky. Like, is it the down and left arrow are your X and Y, and then like your
ZR?
But doesn't the Switch have that whole button mapping thing?
You can't use it with those.
Yeah, but you can use, but you have to go out and use it. Yeah. You got to go out into the system, and then use it for every game. You got to.
Yeah, you got to swap it, and it
swap it every.
And
game.
You got to remember, let's say you swap A and B. Now they're swapped on the menu. Even when you select games, now you have to swap.
So when you go back to play your games, you got to change that shit back.
But what I was thinking of when I said they're not mappable, the N64 controller isn't mappable for Switch games.
No, it's not.
No.
So I had a friend who bought Mario Party Superstar, and because of he bought the N64 controller, and he tried to have like an authentic experience by playing with the N64 controller. There are just certain actions you can't do. You can't play all the mini games.
You can't swing Link's sword in Breath of the Wild. There's no X or Y button. So Mario can't throw Cappy. I would wonder. I'm wondering if it even works with the 3D All Stars collection of Mario 64. I'm wondering if it even maps correctly with that.
It doesn't, from what I remember. Somebody whose video was that? I want to say, was it Nintendo Life?
Because yeah,
they fucked up.
It was Nintendo Life.
Yeah,
the A and B, the jump button was off. It was a different. It was like A.
And he had to like reach over. He had to hit like the L button for something, and then go back to the ZR or whatever Z button and L. It's like he had to hold it, and then you had to like reach up for actions. I'm like, that's not playable. I don't care what you say. That's not playable. That's
no.
And here's the thing: this would be more acceptable had this been a $10 more thing. Like,
yeah, of course.
My thing is that you're charging this much goddamn money. You better roll this bitch out correctly.
Yeah, because the controller's $50. That shit should be fully customizable, and work with.
The irony also is that the Genesis emulator is way better. It's like I'm
not really surprised because 2D is much easier to emulate. And N64 is notorious.
And I didn't look. Is the Genesis controller 3 or 6 buttons?
3.
It's 3.
Are you
in America? In America,
Japan got the 6 button, which is what the.
Are you kidding? Why limit yourself? God, they did the same shit with the Genesis Mini.
I don't understand that either. That never made any sense to me. I don't see, if you're gonna put it out for Japan, at least give me the option to buy it. Like
even if I was like excited for the Genesis game stuff, that would turn me off immediately. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna play it on a 3-button controller. What happens if they add not Street Fighter, but something like that where you need 6 buttons?
The only good thing I can say about the N64 controller is that it's at least a better build quality, so you won't run into the same bullshit you did on the OG.
N64. I didn't look.
It's a complete replica. That's
even the analog stick.
Other than, the stick is different. The stick is different. I mean, it looks the same, but it has a different build.
Okay.
Like internally.
But it still looks and has still same range of movement and everything.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, that would be awesome. Like Clock said, how awesome would it be to play Odyssey with the N64 controller?
It'd be amazing.
Like, I mean,
or some of these new. There's some new like homage games coming out from indie developers.
Or
it'd
ukulele.
be awesome to play with an N64 controller with. Yeah.
It just they could, individual game developers could update their games to allow an N64 option where they can map it for you, and instead of having to move the camera, maybe you could have just one button recenter the camera like a lot of Wii games did, and they would have to actually patch the game like each game separately. But I mean, you guys know me, I'm not Mr. Nostalgia or anything, but if the N64 controller was just like, it was a flawless execution, like you could easily make it work with certain games, I would even be tempted. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be tempted.
And here's the thing, this is what I've heard from a lot of people. I've watched a lot of reviews. They're like, don't even attempt to play this without an N64 controller. Like, if you go in trying to use like the Switch Joy-Cons, fuck off. It is not going to be a good experience. And I'm like, so that means your $50 experience has gone up to $100. Because you want that, you want the N64 controller. That's $100.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to start in the conversation. Just trying to play these games with the Switch Pro controller seems really, really awkward. Like the button layout is just really crazy.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Because the Z button, should just be ZL, and then you can still have R and L be what they were on the N64 controller. And then have the right analog stick be your yellow buttons, or that's where it gets where they try to emulate the yellow buttons as face buttons. It's like, there were some games that utilized them as face buttons and it wouldn't work with the analog, but I'd rather have the analog stick than hit fucking ZL or something.
Or better yet, just give me the option to pick between the two. Like, give me both options and then let me switch depending on the game.
Here's my thing. N64 is my all-time favorite console, right? So a lot of people are saying, oh, you're a hardcore N64 guy, like, the input lag, you're going to care about all that stuff. Most people aren't going to care about that. And that's probably true. Like, most of the people, I'd say 80%, and that's probably low.
I would agree.
80% of people are not going to give a shit about a lot of the stuff we're talking about. But my thing is, and this is just a personal thing, I don't want your first experience with the N64 to be this shit. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be good.
Yeah,
Like,
was Smash Brothers one of the games in that data mining?
Yeah.
You don't want fucking input lag in a game like that, you know?
No.
And it's like, somebody said, I didn't look to see if anybody put any, like, evidence, like, a wired Pro controller versus, like, Bluetooth, would that be, is that better? I didn't see if anybody
I would remember
that.
if it's like, if they do the thing with the Pro controller where they actually have like a setting for it, and it does decrease input lag for it to be wired.
I noticed it with Smash and stuff but you know,
I wonder how the GameCube controller fares.
It seems
I don't think anybody's done it.
No, there's somebody tested that when Smash Ultimate came out. I'm pretty sure someone tested all the options.
I mean, like with the N64 games.
I'd be curious.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I wonder if anybody's done that. I don't think they have.
I don't know that the GameCube's gonna fare much better as far as button layout though, because that's got that's a weird layout. But
it's got the it's got the C stick.
I think it might do a little bit better personally, but I had to see it first. I mean, the main issue, the same buttons, right? The main struggle is just that like you launch it and your two major sticking points, because Animal Crossing DLC isn't out, and if you don't give a fuck about Animal Crossing, it doesn't matter. And half your service, the most important, the most interesting part of your service, which would have been N64, has all these weird fucking issues, and I'm just kind of like, did y'all feel like y'all had to release this now if the emulator wasn't done? Like, or did you just not notice it, or did you just not notice it until it was too late?
I don't know that they. It seems like they're pretty on that kind of stuff, though. They're very. When they develop games and stuff, they were always like. I say always, before the Switch, I felt like Nintendo was very focused on the presentation as far as the little details like that. Like, they were always on the forefront on their console of pushing the new sound technologies or having progressive scan. All their games supported widescreen progressive scan after a certain point. On the GameCube, they all supported Dolby Pro Logic 2. But now with the Switch and, well, during the Wii as well, but even the Wii still pushed some boundaries for what the system was. Now they're just like on the, they don't focus on that stuff as an audio file. I've talked about this multiple times. Like, they just don't deliver on that anymore. There's third-party games on the system, doing way better than Nintendo's first party should be the cream of the crop.
The irony is that last month was probably one of the better first-party months, with you having Dread, and I've seen the pretty positive reviews for Mario. What is it, Mario Party Super?
Yeah, Superstars. Yeah, that has the highest Metacritic that I've seen for a Mario Party game at 7.9 or 79.
And from what I've seen from fans, people are generally happy with.
People seem to really like it.
Apparently,
it has all the best fucking mini games. It better be good.
They also remixed all the fucking music. Didn't know that until I start watching people online. I'm like, okay, you remixed the whole fucking soundtrack? All right, bet. So I feel bad that like you had a good game release.
And it looks amazing visually.
That threw me off. I knew it was gonna look good, but Jesus, it threw me off.
At least it looks good in the trailers. I mean, it's like,
I've seen some of the board stuff, and it like Peach's birthday cake looks fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I mean, I feel like it looks.
And I've heard mostly positive things about the online. That was the other thing.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the.
I haven't heard anything bad about it.
It's just like it's good.
Come on, Juice.
But they had to play it. I'll see when I see you guys at a game night on a Saturday. I'll pick it up. I'll say that.
Damn.
As long as we're not getting the N64 expansion pass bullshit, I'll keep paying for the online for another year.
Which is what I was hoping to do, but the price and the emulation.
Honestly, just getting back to that, just the thought of trying to play with those stupid button layout. I just don't. I have no interest now. I mean, I think Mario 64 would be okay because you just got 3 buttons and then the cameras. That's all the C buttons were used for. But
I'm gonna revisit it in a year. That's what my thought process is. Gonna give them a year. I'm gonna see how they do with game releases, what games we're getting, how frequently we get them, and if you do any patches to the service, which you need to do something because this ain't it, Chief. I'm just be real about it. So they get a year. They get a year to get their shit together.
Because honestly,
No.
Without the N64 controller, to me it's not worth $1 extra, because that I ain't gonna. I just don't see playing the games without it. For actually serious set down, I'm gonna beat Ocarina of Time again. I'm just not gonna do that with that.
I clearly am not going to do that. I need this. There's the only way I can play N64 games. I can't do it.
So that's another 50.
I probably would have attempted.
And is it just do they have color options, or is it just the light gray?
Looks like it's just a gray one.
That's another missed
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah.
Maybe down the road
it is a missed. Yeah, I think because they can't keep the bitches in stock right now. So once they're
probably on a boat. Well, they probably ship those there. I doubt they ship those on a boat because they'd be sitting out in the ocean for another couple months.
Do you have to be a subscriber to be able to purchase one?
Yeah, you have to be like you already have to have online to even be able to buy it.
How do you even buy it then? Through their online store?
Yeah, the website. When I got the Super Nintendo controller, that's how I did it. I just bought it through a website. Worked fine.
I wonder what the battery. I mean, I've heard nothing about like battery life, like rumble. I've heard nothing about this controller, like memory card support. I'm sure that doesn't need to be in there.
Well, that's another thing. Like, apparently, it currently doesn't have memory pack support because Mario Kart won't let you do. Because Mario Kart, if you want to do ghost data on Mario Kart 64, you had to have a memory pack. So people tried to go in and do ghost data and wouldn't work because it said no memory pack detected.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah. So they have some shit to do. They got some work to do, man.
Yeah.
Like, how can you screw that up? How can you not implement a way for your memory pack to work? Because not every game does WinBack. I can't remember. Does WinBack have to have
you would be the person to know? That's the
most third-party games. Most third-party games required a memory pack because they didn't want to pay for the battery in the cart itself. The memory. The memory.
I was wondering why Madden took a full cart too, a full 59 blocks or whatever.
Oh yeah, because it was too expensive. The cartridges are already super expensive.
So Madden was an $80 game. We talk about $70 games. Madden Madden was probably 50s.
Yep.
Madden 2003 or 4 or whatever. No, they fixed it by the second or third game. I'm thinking GameCube. N64. Yeah. Madden 99 was it?
99. Yeah.
98. Yeah, you had to buy the game and if you want to do anything other than just play a one match and have nothing saved exhibition match, if you wanted to like have a season or do anything custom, create a character, whatever was available, you had to have the memory pack, and it took a whole one, so it was a $20 additional purchase to basically play that game.
Visor said WinBack needs it, and here's the thing: what they're doing, they're giving you save states, so that's how they're getting around that having a memory card.
Yeah.
The N64 Online itself has save states, so that's how they get around it. But they should have thought that through a lot better, because
I feel bad if somebody doesn't do a save state and hits the load to boot to menu. Basically, the save state basically is like you've never turned the system off. Like back in the day, you would just have to leave the system on. That's what save states basically are doing. It's like, just keeping the game going without.
It's sleep mode basically.
Because if you play, what did I play? Link to the Past. I never saw the opening, the spinning Triforce, because I just used the save state feature. I didn't use the in-game saves, so I never saw after booting the game up on Wii U and played the whole game. I never saw that again, and then I was like, oh, what if I boot to menu? Well, I had lost a bunch of progress because I didn't do a save point, and I learned the hard way. That was back, in 2012 or 13. I think it was early 2013 when I played Link to the Past on the Wii U. But there's too many questions. But I am curious. I didn't know about the build quality. I didn't know the N64. Nobody I'm subscribed to did like a full breakdown of the N64. Just discussed it. I'm curious about how the rumble feels. I'm curious about the battery life. How it charges. Is it a USB-C or is it micro?
Sure
it's USB-C.
Okay.
Yeah, it's USB-C.
So I'm just curious. I'm
I think Spawn Wave did one, if I'm not mistaken. There's people that have done breakdowns and teardowns and actually open it up.
Like get an actual like diehard N64 guy to like tell you how it feels and test the rumble, because the rumble pack was really cool on the N64 because it really it wasn't just a vibration.
From what I've heard, the rumble is great. The build quality, I think people said it was lighter. No, it's heavier, but it's heavier. But it's because the rumble's built in, so it's like you don't have a memory. You know, it'd be like without having the.
What does it look like? Does it even have a slot like a?
Well, it has like. There's like
slot?
A plastic. It looks like there's a memory card in there, but it's obviously it's like sealed off kind of thing.
Yeah, it's molded.
So that's pretty cool, and it doesn't have the little thing there, but everything looks pretty cool. Looks pretty authentic.
Nintendo can barely release new games. I mean, this year I wouldn't say that.
Yeah,
the last couple years. This is the bad year to say that.
Yeah, this is the wrong year you picked for that.
Yeah.
And you had other options.
You know me. If you know me, I'm calling out Nintendo for when they have slow years, and I haven't said a word this year other than the early part of the year when they had nothing.
I guess the only thing you could mention is that they delayed Advance Wars remake.
Oh, Advance Wars, yeah, but they still had a lot of games.
We can say the first half of the year was pretty light, and everything's come out since.
That's kind of what
they've
been. That's pretty typical, though.
It is.
Yeah,
that's how they do.
I think they did it in 2019 too, where like.
Although 22 doesn't look that way.
No.
22 looks like a
honestly.
You're already starting off with like what 2 or 3 good hitters already, if I remember correctly.
I seen there was a new trailer. I didn't watch it for Legends. They put out a new trailer today.
Oh yeah, Arceus.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not ever calling it Arceus. I don't care.
Arceus.
It's Arceus to me.
Listen. The Pokemon fandom argues about names all the time. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. Because no one's ever.
Does it look vastly superior? Because remember the last trailer, I saw like 2 or 3 reaction channels, and it was 3 women.
The Pokemon fan base
ripping the fucking visuals, and I'm like, man, this is like the best they've ever done. I'm happy, and people are like tearing them down.
Because people. This
ain't N64 trees. I mean, the game looks pretty impressive. I think.
I think because they want to hold Pokemon to like this ridiculously high standard. I'm like, guys, you're still playing a game that you arguably say like N64 games. So like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing here?
Look at what they're doing here, as far as the scope, the scale of the world. And it still is higher than Sword and Shield, like visually.
I'm still surprised they're sticking to that January date. We're like fucking. I thought that was gonna get delayed. I'll be real with you, because people were like, "Oh no, man."
I wonder
because remember they announced it was coming out in January, like earlier this year.
Yeah, months ago.
And you're just like, "Are you
Excuse
sure?"
me?
And you're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you sure you're sure?"
Well, here's the thing. I meant to bring this up.
And they doubled down on it.
Hard, actually.
Why are they pushing that game out in January? I just feel like there's got to be a reason, because the remakes come out in end of November. So 2 months, less than 2 months after Diamond? What is it? Is it
Diamond and Pearl?
Then you get Arceus. It's like, I feel like they're just really something coming. I don't know, but then they've already outlined a couple games for March and stuff. So there's some reason that games come out in January. I just don't understand.
They want it to hit the fiscal year or something, and
you gotta understand that Pokemon's really fucking weird about this shit. Pokemon is the same company that came out with a new generation and then came out with like a sequel game, announced a sequel game like 3 months after it, and you were like, why the fuck did you do that? Like, if you remember from the DS era, they put out Black and White 2. Here's the trailer for X and Y. What? It's been like 3 months, buddy. You're not gonna give me a chance to put? Nah, it's coming out this fall. So if I know them well enough, they will probably do something reckless, like announce another Pokemon game by the end of next year. Knowing them, especially since this is technically not a mainline game, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Generation 9 at the end of next year. That's how Pokemon likes to do shit.
You think maybe November 2022 will be another new game?
Yep, because Pokemon likes to do that shit.
It'll be something else.
Pokemon, says like every year they're gonna have something. It's kind of like Zelda. Like you're gonna get something.
This seems like a
related to
pretty
that.
big game to also have another new gen game. Like,
I mean, but if you put it out in January, that gives it at least.
I know, but just for them, it seems like crazy if them to have a brand new gen plus Arceus. Like they must have a huge staff.
Well,
they must
we'll
have like
see.
1,000 people working there now.
That's just
They should, all that damn money they're making.
Yeah, my suspicion tells me we're gonna get something else Pokemon related. The fact that the beginning of next year is already kind of stacking.
Could it be related to new Switch hardware? That they want to get it out?
You're here first, folks.
That's all. I would say if we're gonna hear about that, we won't hear about that probably until like mid next year.
At this point, I mean, we've talked about this so many times. Imagine they get Arceus comes out. You got Splatoon 3. You get Breath of the Wild 2. You get fucking what else is coming? Confirmed for. You get the Triangle Strategy, which isn't Nintendo, but you know some pretty solid releases. Bayonetta 3. All these games. Then they're like, oh yeah, we got this really powerful Switch coming out. You know, like it just doesn't make any sense to like do anything.
Play it on that.
Like
it enhances these games,
but it'd have to come out. I think before all these big games. After the fact doesn't really.
Well, let me ask you.
Help.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say Zelda's next year. Let's say it's confirmed for next year because I don't think it actually.
It didn't confirm it, but
it didn't confirm it. So, but let's say it is. Let's say it is, and let's say Splatoon 3 and Bayonetta 3. Which game, if it came out and you didn't hear anything about a Switch Pro, would you go? I guess it's not coming out this year. Like,
which game isn't coming out, or
like let's say if one of those games came out and they didn't mention anything about a Switch Pro.
Prime 4.
If Prime 4,
yeah.
If Prime 4,
comes out on the Switch without even a word about a Switch Pro, there's never going to be a Switch Pro.
Yeah.
To me, it'll be Zelda. If you give Zelda a date and you haven't announced the Pro yet, I'm gonna be like, okay, I guess you ain't doing it. Because like,
and why though? I mean, why would you even at 100 million sold? It just makes
you don't really have a reason to.
People are like, oh, it splits the fan base. Well, it would have been a lot more even split if they had done it 2 years ago versus now. Now it's going to be 100 million to 5 million best case scenario. You know. By the end, but in that year, like if they sold 5 million Switch Pros, then you have 100 million. Who's gonna develop anything, make anything special for the few million people that have the Pro? Like, and then like when you put the new system out with Dread, you know, all intents and purposes seemed like it was gonna be I'm surprised I haven't heard anything like a big seller.
4 million sales or something.
You got obviously Animal Crossing's huge sales still, and what else? I don't think Mario Golf did anything special, but we'll find out. A couple other games have sold really well. You know, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to sell well.
Smash DLC is probably still selling it. So
you know, these games are still selling. Mario Kart's still selling. Like, you put out a new system, then that's just like putting out Mario Kart 9. You're just going to kill the sales of the games that are out. Like,
well, I'm hoping if it's backwards compatible, it'll probably just carry over.
If they did like a very smooth transition full backwards compatibility, then that would be different, you know, because then you could upgrade or not, and you really don't feel like you're missing anything.
Yeah, that would be my thing. Okay, and I know we've had this conversation. Splatoon 3 is probably the only game that makes me think how much longer do we have in the Switch generation, because usually Splatoon gets like what 1 or 2 years worth of support.
Yeah, it could get 1 year. So, I mean, they could be looking 2023 for like a new hardware.
They said 10 years, man.
Oh, and that's, you know what we forgot, and then Kirby comes out next year.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Kirby.
I would say, well, T mentioned the game I think most deserves or might require the new system.
Oh, AO?
So Metroid Prime 4.
Oh.
I think, you know, as much, I said this, I don't know if T was here when I talked about this. I love Dread. I don't know if you played Dread yet. Have you played it yet, T? Have you played Dread?
I'm in a slump, man.
I get you. I barely touched anything last week. I was watching movies, but
I don't know what's wrong with me right now.
Dread looks. I don't know if you heard me say this. I don't remember if you were on. I think you were. I think Dread in portable mode looks as good as Will the Wisp.
It's in there
on my 1440p monitor. I think Dread looks absolutely stunning in portable mode. On the TV, it's definitely there's definitely some.
Don't taunt me with it. Just fucking hit the A button. Just hit the A.
I want to be able to start it and be in it. I don't want to be distracted.
Dude,
I'm very curious of your opinions of it.
It works very well for pick up and play and put down. It's designed in a way, it kind of nudges you in a direction pretty well, but not doing it too obvious. I went like a week without playing. I booted right back up. I just kind of went with the flow, ended up got a new power up, fought a boss.
That's a lot of save points. So
and it's like
clock in for a little bit, clock out.
Because I was like, oh shit, it's been a week. I don't remember where to go. Well, I just started. Well, I can go here, and then I can go here. Led me to this room, and then all of a sudden, there's a new item. Now I got to go fight this mini boss and get this cutscene. It works very well for jump in, jump out type gameplay.
Yeah.
But my point is, because you and I were a little more skeptical of the visuals. In portable mode, it's up there. It looks stunning. On the TV, like I was saying, I know Clocked It was here when I said this. I feel like Clocked It was. Or maybe this could have been in a separate chat we were doing during our game nights. But I was like, Dread to me is pushing the Switch. And it's 2D, but it's a 3D, character models and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pushing the Switch, I feel, pretty far. Maybe it isn't. Maybe somebody will find out.
Some of the backgrounds in some of those areas is really extensive. That's what makes me. So I would agree with that.
I'd be curious if somebody who has a hack Switch, which it shows the percentage.
It's really dense.
What it kind of breaks down how much it's actually like the GPU's actually working to run the game. Because on PC you get a GPU, it's running at 99% most of the time. But either way, I just really feel like as good as Dread looks in handheld, on the TV it definitely shows some of its flaws with the jaggies and some of the low res sections where it drops resolution. And I'm just like, what game engine are they gonna use to turn a full 3D Prime game and have that perform at 60 frames per second and be at a decent resolution where it doesn't look all blurry? Because on GameCube, fucking those games were the best looking games by far. Sharp, clean looking, super fast, no slowdown.
Nowhere.
Dread runs at 30 in handheld mode. That's news to me. I'd be curious.
What? Really?
I don't think that's true, man. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
But I don't know. I can't say. I'd be curious now, but either way, my point is, I just don't see how they're gonna. What 3D engine are they gonna use Nintendo in-house? They better not use Unreal, because that's
Unreal.
Yeah, Unreal doesn't play.
So how are we gonna get a full 3D first-person game that still looks good, and runs at 60? I just don't. I'm skeptical, and I think Dread, as good as it looks, made me even more skeptical of Prime 4. I
like the fact that he spelled Dread like Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're wrong on that one. You gonna look that up, Trell, or?
What? That if it runs
in Dread in handheld mode. I didn't notice any.
I've never.
I don't believe that.
I know there was a game that does that. I believe it was a third-party game. So I don't want to call you wrong until we verify.
Yeah, I'm looking at them too. So.
I'm checking.
That's the first I've heard. It's the first I've heard.
Oh, that's right. I could just check Digital Foundry.
I watched John Linneman's breakdown. He fucking praised the hell out of the game, and I don't remember hearing that. But
I don't either. Let's see.
I got caught up on him saying that was the best audio in any game this year, and I was all excited. And then he let me down because it wasn't even close.
It's
900p 60 docked.
And 720p 60.
Yeah. Portable.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you know what he's talking about? The cutscenes run at 30. That's it.
Yeah, the cutscenes I think are 30. I think that's right.
That's the only thing that's 30. Everything else is the gameplay itself is at 60. And it has like
I mean, it's
very
900p.
rare dip.
900p in docked, so
That's when it's running at. You can tell, I can tell when it dips during certain heavy moments, but it still looks good. Don't get me wrong. It's still a good looking game. The lighting is just amazing. Really tempted to, I want to see it on OLED because it looks so good on my day one Switch.
I was blown away by it when I first switched it. I remember the night because you were like, you haven't tried it in handheld? And I was like, all right, fine, fuck it, I'll try it in handheld. I was all right, bet. All right, yeah, it's legit. We fuck with it in handheld. You know what surprised me? I went and played recently in handheld, and I was surprised it looks pretty good on OLED. No More Heroes 3, because No More Heroes 3 has some interesting design when it comes to
interesting.
So
some funky.
if you're doing like fights and shit, that game pops like a motherfucker.
Well, the thing about handheld mode is, I mean, it's 720p. The OLED's gonna be a little bit worse, quote unquote, but the pixel density's pretty significant on a 6.2 or whatever. So you got 720 pixels tall on this 6-inch screen. That's a lot that's some pretty fine good pixel density. You know, it's not like 1440p, but so you don't notice the jaggies when the pixels are that small. It's almost like having anti-aliasing at that point. So that's the thing I noticed the most on the TV. Even a 4K TV, because the Switch ain't in 4K, so you know it's still 900p resolution. So the pixels are, you know, the 4K pixels. There's probably like 4 or 5 pixels illuminating what would be 1 pixel on a 1080p. So
still going.
Yeah.
Reconnection successful. Okay, good.
I've been having.
I was watching Netflix last Lock and Key season 2. And it never got to like HD quality. I was like, what the fuck, man? I did a speed test. I'm supposed to be getting like 500, and I'm getting 170 down, which is still a lot. But I'm thinking if I'm that far off what I'm supposed to, I have a feeling my internet, I need to call them tomorrow or maybe Wednesday when I have a day off. Maybe they need to test my line because I don't think I'm getting full signal anymore. And that could be affecting, every once in a while, I'll notice podcast connection will go like orange or something. But it's been green so far. But anyway,
I had this high speed shit like I got up over here, boy.
Well, I'm supposed to have like 5 or I think they just boosted it even higher. You know, it's like what the fuck. But
mine's 5.
I don't need that, but that's what I'm supposed to be getting, so I got to figure that out. But anyway, yeah, we kind of brought up the hardware thing. I just at this point, I just gave up caring about a pro version because it's just too late. And then it's like, well, the new system's at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years out. So it's like I don't even think about it anymore.
It's 10 years, man. It's 2027 we get a new Switch.
That's one of the reasons why I was using Splatoon as a gauge. Because to me, if you're putting out Splatoon 3 next year, and Ayers mentioned that Splatoon 2 had 3 years of DLC.
About 3 years of DLC.
Yeah, but the first game didn't. Only had 1 year.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the first game.
Here's the thing about Nintendo: there are no rules. Okay, so don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I was going with it.
We all do this. It's like, oh, they did this, so that means no, not when Nintendo doesn't mean anything.
Well, then let's undershoot it then.
Yeah.
At the very least, it'll get a year.
That's what my point was. That just because they did 2 or 3 of Splatoon 2, they could easily do 1 year or half a year. You know, with the next game.
I would think 2 wouldn't surprise, because like realistically at that point, and we also don't know when in 2022 it's coming out, but like in the between Bayonetta
and still selling really well.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I mean, I'm sure some people would say this is a huge negative, but you could be looking at a PS5 Pro or a Series Z in 2024, and you're still gonna have the 2017 Switch. Like, it's just crazy to me. And you know, it's Nintendo's
still gonna get away with that shit,
doing their own thing. They're still putting out games. I mean, it's still gonna sell, but it's just crazy, man. It's like
I'm still making money. That's what Nintendo's like, bro.
Hey, look, yeah. Part of me can't blame them because let's just be honest. The Switch is Wii U recoup.
Mhm.
That's what the Switch is. A lot of the Switches we got to recoup our losses during Wii U.
And they're making
So
their money back.
And they always get
they're
burned
doing it
when they do a powerful system. They've got burned.
right.
Technically, the
They got burned with
N64
GameCube.
didn't even do that.
They
Like,
got burned with N64 was more cartridges. I think that was more of the problem with the
Yeah.
N64. But it was a powerful console. So yeah, N64 and GameCube, especially GameCube. GameCube, I think, was the biggest disappointment to them because it was like, motherfuckers, we gave you everything that you said you wanted.
But it wasn't DVD.
Talking to developers,
Mhm.
not just like customers, but developers and shit. And they were like,
I always
you
thought,
just too small.
I
They're just trying to
very
find all kinds of shit.
listen. I very
It's
much,
like, come on,
I very
man.
much believe the GameCube era was the era where Nintendo fans like, I don't think I don't think we're ever gonna be like that. Like we're ever gonna get back to that.
Yeah.
Like, I think,
Yeah.
and that's when people
I
started.
gave
thinking,
up at the GameCube. I was like,
A
I
lot of
think-
I
people
almost
had-
stopped gaming after GameCube.
You think?
A
All
lot,
right.
a lot of people think it's the industry more than it was Nintendo in that
Yes.
situation.
Yeah,
What
I
are
think it's
the-
industry, man.
Possible downsides though to waiting for the Switch 2 because you don't know what 2 years from now what people are going to be doing. Like there could be the streaming shit could be completely taken off as far as cloud streaming on people's phones.
It all
And you could have all these little accessories for phones that just easily clip on like a Joy-Con. And by the time Nintendo is thinking, well, we better get new hardware out, they're going to be coming out with hardware that's behind. Obviously, the cloud streaming is going to be, as long as you have a good connection, it's going to be ray tracing and all that on a small screen. I almost feel like if they have the technology, I mean, the chip shortage is definitely would be an issue, but I almost feel like do it sooner. It's almost like an artist who's got a huge album, and they always tell them get your next album out right away. If you wait and you fade, it's done. If you get your new album out, you're gonna have 1 million first week sales. Instant. Like I remember Limp Bizkit, that was a big thing. They pushed out their next album, did like 1.2 million first week, and then no one cared about them after that. But anyway, I kind of feel like they would just add to the Switch family, be full cross-gen support, cross-gen games, and just have the new hardware out there for people that really want, a better docked experience or something, just build on the Switch momentum, because what happens is the Switch 2 a guaranteed success if it comes out in 2025, 2024?
It depends on how much forethought they put into it and what we end up getting. Like if it's just a better Switch, like that's not gonna really.
It'd almost be like the Wii U situation where it's just people are like, why do I upgrade? It's just basically the same thing.
To me, it very much is gonna hinge how far ahead did they think and how strong it is and what features and things you've added from. The fact that the OLED, to me, I was only surprised at some of the weird dock changes they made, because I'm like, is this gonna be usable? Like, are they gonna be backwards compatible with docks and shit?
Will it be cart based?
UMDs, baby. UMDs coming back.
You know what? I'm gonna take that back. I think it will be. I think it will be. I think
it's
like I think they're one.
I know Nintendo isn't. Games aren't that huge, but games are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Are third parties with the 100 gigabyte games really gonna put their shit out on a Switch 2?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know anybody that has Doom Eternal on their Switch. They keep putting out large patches. I don't know if they're adding content.
That's just probably
Doom Eternal. It is. Doom Eternal was like between 40 and 50 gig game initially on PS4 Pro. I by the time I got it, but PS5 it was over 60. I upgraded for free on the PS5, and it was like 60, high 60s. I've had 2 10 gigabyte updates this year for sure. The thing, I didn't check out the final numbers, but I just had it turn my PS5 on because I leave it off, and it had a 9.8 gig update for Doom Eternal. Like, they didn't add anything. I've seen nothing about. Is that just a patch? They added new content? I don't know.
I haven't heard
stuff.
anything.
That game's gonna be literally 80 gigs now, and I'm like, why don't how did that jump up that much?
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question since Steve mentioned if it was gonna be cart based again. Would you trade backwards compatibility for power?
Power.
Like if they essentially, would you trade backwards compatibility for them to go back to discs again, or would you rather they stay with
Well,
carts?
I guess the thing would be, is it going to be a switch? Like, am I going to be able to undock? Because if I'm not going to be able to undock it, bitch, I'll just give me a powerful console with discs. I don't care.
What if they pull a Wii U and you have the dock, you put the disc in the dock, and you lift the switch up and it streams it to the Switch?
Oh,
but the range, but the range,
that just sounds bad.
Yeah.
Or what?
That's not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
you're gonna have to. You put the disc in the.
What if you put the disc in the dock? It installs to your internal memory, which is in the unit, and then you can still play your games. Maybe it has a key.
That to me. I actually don't mind that. That actually sounds kind of cool.
I would have to see it. I feel like that's one of those ones I have to see how it got implemented.
Because honestly, I've kind of wanted Nintendo to do something like what Mac does, where
already offended.
Like everything already has all like your iPad. They all share these same applications and stuff, basically games, right? But when you're on the go, you can't, certain games you can't take, they're too big or whatever, or apps, or you can't take them to go with you. But it would be cool to be able to, I can dock and take what I want from the dock and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just go. To me, that's a cool way to do it.
Because I know we were it was that video you linked about the PS5 working with the slowest available Gen 4 SSD. But the thing that really got crushed with was the transfer speed. So if you wanted to transfer from the PS5 internal memory to the new internal solid state, like it's not an external but the new additional, they transferred Cyberpunk, which is 100 gigs, and it transferred in like, what was it, 100 seconds or something? 100 fucking gigs transferred from the internal to the fastest SSD expansion in like 100 seconds, or two, maybe it was, God, I can't remember the exact number, but it was under 2 minutes. It was ridiculous, or it was right around 2 minutes. It's like, that's 100 gigs. Like, if you could, that's just think of a 20 gig Nintendo game. Like, that would be a good, with fast enough memory, that would be a practical thing. Oh, I want to take these 3 games with me, and 30 seconds later, they're there, and you take them and go. So that's actually good. That technology exists where that would be practical. How about its PS5 Pro power button update allows stream to
so like
Switch?
What, the OG Switch would turn into like the Vita?
What's he talking about? The new Switch would be PS5 Pro power?
Yeah, he's talking about the new Switch being PS5 Pro power, but like there's an update that allows you to stream your games.
The new one, yeah. That they could utilize the current Switch too as like a
Vita. Actually, the whole like remote play thing. You could do that. That wouldn't be bad.
What if their new system's like just a non-portable, non-hybrid, but you can use the Switch to stream stuff to it, like they connect? That would be kind of cool, because everybody's got a Switch, so that wouldn't be the worst idea, but we'll see.
Yeah,
it's the Wii U then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't. But if you make that comparison, it's doom on arrival. All right, we can't do that.
The media, everybody's gonna make that comparison. So,
except for if it utilizes like Wi-Fi, not just a proprietary streaming thing. So you could play it at work or whatever, as long as you have an internet connection.
Realistically, to make a new Switch, if you just had like a beefier dock, that would kind of, like, if you had a more home console-ish dock, you could literally keep the Switch as it is. Where if you docked it, instead of it being like it's just a slightly upscaled version of the same game, Like if you dock it, it's almost like a completely different
like
experience.
a supplemental computing device.
I was waiting. I was waiting to say that.
God damn you.
Well, here's the thing. NVIDIA's
Isn't that what the Switch is? Oh, wait a minute, it didn't happen.
Just wait, guys. Just wait till the supplementing computing device. Remember that before the Pro, but because it's NVIDIA, that's got to be a possibility where they could just keep your Switch. You spend $300 on this home console like thing, and they work in tandem, like a 32X Genesis, But I don't know that would work either. But we've already seen what modders can do with enough power. You can really transform a Wii U or Switch level graphics into something really just throwing power at it, so they could do something.
Yeah, the problem is that Nintendo was very concerned about undershooting a fear of like overheating a Switch. And I get it, but it was almost to a degree where we were like, you have enough to kind of like give.
Well, now with that new efficient chip, it runs at half the power at the same speed. So that tells me if it ran twice as much, then it would be back to the original power of the power draw. And the temps were like, was it like 60 Celsius? If anybody who does benchmarking and CPUs and stuff, 60 is that's like prime temp. Between like 55 and 60 is like the most efficient. If you're around that temp, you're really doing good. Your cooling system is solid. Like I know Terrell, I was surprised that when you first built your PC, the temps you were getting, because I was like in the 80s, 80 Celsius, and now with my new, I think I get into the low 70s at full load.
Right.
So it's already been proven that the day one Switch can run. It can run full out, and it doesn't even overheat. It still is in the mid 60s, which is like 25, 30 Celsius from actually being an issue. So it's already been proven by the hackers or the overclockers that you can run the day one Switch at double the clock speed of the CPU and the GPU fully maxed, and it doesn't even get that much warmer. So you're right. They definitely were a little too cautious there.
I understood it at the time because that was the first time of them really pushing something like that. And that is like to this day one of the more powerful handhelds in gaming. So I understood that. But if you're going into a sequel, you should be a lot more confident fucking hardware and be like, listen, we can get a little bit reckless with it. That's why I said if you just added, to me, the Switch is one of those things that you can literally go from generation to generation with and just increase the power of the home experience, and you would be fine. But that hinges on them making that home experience like a legit home experience. Not like this, like the dock is kind of like an okay home experience, but you can tell that thing's more meant for handheld than anything.
And it's like poorly put together. The original one is cheap, flimsy, doesn't have enough ports. Like, you know, like
you charging $100 for that shit.
No, I know, 90. I'm glad I didn't. I was looking for one, and I'm glad I didn't find it because I would have regretted paying 90 for that. When I first got my capture card, I was like, I'm gonna get another dock, and I couldn't find one. They were nowhere to be found. So
lucky you.
Yeah, you take an actual, substantial box with, maybe a fan. You got 4 USB ports, Ethernet port, a proper like HDMI 2.0, which now would be you'd want 2.1. I don't think Nintendo's next system's gonna utilize HDMI 2.1, but you might as well have it there, and just something that actually looks nice. I know the OLED one looks nicer, but something that looks like a decent piece of technology that you put your Switch into, not just some hollow plastic, flimsy ass plastic. Then I would actually feel like they're taking the home part of it seriously. I know Clocked It and Rob are definitely in the I would say denial camp about Nintendo's focus on the Switch being a handheld.
Damn, that's right, bitches. You're right here.
Yeah, you're right here. You can't counter that. But
Juice would do that too.
I just like I have to make sure they watch that they watch.
Well, Clark will literally hit you
Clark.
up at like he's gonna hit you up at like 6 o'clock talking about what the fuck did you
a.m.
say?
Yeah.
What the fuck did
You
you
know,
just say?
It's obviously a hybrid. You know, they know it's a hybrid, but they didn't need to upgrade the fucking handheld experience. It was already solid. You know, like
Yeah, they're very much realistically the experience that needs to be upgraded is the docked experience,
especially 5 years later. Like, it's time.
Yeah,
it's time. You know, and it's I don't like I happily play Breath of the Wild 2 on the standard Switch on my TV. You know, like I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna enjoy it, and I have no doubt it's gonna be a great game. You know, there's no issues there.
and it might even run better than Breath of the Wild.
It might, but the thought of
that wasn't optimized for Switch.
The thought of that game having the option to play it, you know, with the way higher resolution or a consistent frame rate or even 60 FPS or something, like that's not a bad option. Even if you don't care, then play it on your Switch. You know, it's like you guys keep saying, well, why am I going to buy a PS5? Well, if you want to play all those great looking games, you know, if you think they look good at 60, that's right there. That's a reason to buy the PS5 because there hasn't been one yet that hasn't been at 60. So I would say the same thing about a Switch 2 or a Pro. You know, like, well, why do I need it? Well, there's got to be a reason, even if it's just that, or even if it's like HDR support. You know, like something. There's got to be some reason, something to, if they're gonna do anything, to actually be worth it. It's got to do something more than just slightly clean up the visuals or something like it. I don't think they're gonna push for 4K or anything, but so they're kind of in a weird spot where they waited too long now, so they might as well just wait for the next system.
Yeah. Well, then you're putting out games that you like would normally support for like a generation. Like, at that point, my thought process is like just go ahead and put out the rest of the games you got. I would hold maybe a couple for a decent launch year.
Yeah, that's the other thing. What do you launch with if 2022's got all the games we think are coming? What do you got to launch the next Switch with? A 3D Mario game? I mean, that's something they could.
Mario would be the only thing that hadn't come out in a while, like mainline Mario, because
it's gonna be 5. Well, not. It's 4 years now. It's 4 years since Odyssey came out.
Yeah.
I remember saying in like January, man, I'm excited for Odyssey, but that game's gonna come out and be 40 years old or almost 40. I'm gonna be 39 years old by the time that game comes out. I'll be so bummed. And now it's 4 years later. I'm about to be 43. Crazy.
Damn.
It's just crazy how time flies.
I'm already 43.
And you got, in March would be the fifth year of the Switch. Remember waiting just for the announcement from the NX? Like, when are they going to reveal this thing? Remember how long that felt?
Yeah.
Listen, the infamous Mario behind a curtain thing was like the funniest shit. And we were just like, just show us the fucking trailer.
Because it's been, it was October 22nd, 2016, where they revealed the Switch.
I'm surprised you remember the day. I remember the month and the year. I didn't remember the.
I think it was the 22nd or 21st. Because me and Rob guessed, Rule 2 and I guessed the date right.
Yeah. Also, by the way, the age gap astounded me. I turned 30 this year. Y'all already in your fucking 40s.
Yeah.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
So that's pretty much all.
Nobody hating your swag, man. Nobody hating.
I've had some good times since I turned 40. Just my body's not liking me. My knees.
That body's starting to turn down.
Knees, my fucking wrists, my fingers. I go through stretches where my hands hurt when I wake up in the morning.
Decades of manual labor.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't help that I fucking package up stuff all day long. I'm using every muscle and tendon in my hands all day long. Might have to find a new job by the time I hit 45. I might not be able to fucking make a fist.
Oh no!
It already, like, just doing that, I can already feel a little resistance.
Low-key depressing all of a sudden.
Hey, it sucks getting old. Some people don't. We had a guy who's like 7 years old working, doing what I do. and it's just some people should, their bodies don't break down the same way.
It's genetics, man. It's the genetics.
The Stewie Griffin controller. That was the system, dude, Visor. That was the whole system. If you don't remember that.
That was the system.
Because it had the screen, the buttons were in the screen.
Not good.
People still try to pull that fake shit where you can tell they're green screening it. And they're like, oh, this is the new PlayStation Vita.
I call it the Hey Arnold controller.
Yeah.
That's a nice reference.
But anyway,
I remember, Rob really too was like, he was believing that shit, right?
Oh yeah, he was bummed when they. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why would you fake that? Because it's fun to do shit like that.
That's like when you tell a kid Santa isn't real. What?
It was like Rayman. Remember Rayman and Smash? That shit looked real as
Props to the guy who did that shit.
That bummed me. That did low key bum me out. I'm not gonna lie on that one.
We're never gonna get one of those again because no more Smash reveals.
Yeah. Realistically, I think I'm fine with that. I think Smash needs a break, honestly.
Well, Smash needs a re-release with all the fucking characters on the cart.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna wait. They're probably gonna wait a year before they do that.
And they can charge $120 because the game's still 60.
To be fair, Smash is one of the few titles I think it's worth more than 60 off rip. Right?
Oh yeah, it's totally worth.
All right,
more
so I was thinking about this little side topic, and I know T, you're going to be in a probably different mindset than me, but I seen Clocked It in Retro because they're part of the family plan. They did the expansion pass, and they're playing Mario Kart 64, and they're talking about how it worked really, really well, and they're playing split screen Mario Kart 64. And I've heard people talk about when Smash 64 gets on there. I'm of the mind because Mario Kart 8 exists. Well, I don't have the Switch version anymore, but I still have a Wii U. I don't ever need to play Mario Kart 64 again. I know it's a different game and it controls different, but same way with Smash. I don't ever need to play Smash Melee or Brawl again. Smash Ultimate. Why would I ever want to play Smash Melee or Brawl or even an N64 game again? That's just kind of how I feel about those types of games that have iterations where that's basically the same game but just new, bigger rosters, new visuals, new mechanics.
Well, Smash 64 is controls way differently. Also,
yeah, I would say it depends on how.
It'd be fun to play it for nostalgia, but as far as seriously play it,
it depends on how you. It depends if you like the feel of the game. For me, I would definitely go back and play Melee. That's just how I am. I like Melee in its Melee was fast and chaotic as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't like going back to Melee the last time. So I'll give you an example of where that's not true though. If they come out with a Rocket League 2 and it just doesn't feel right, I'm just gonna keep playing Rocket League. I don't think there's a reason to come out with Rocket League 2. So I could see that mindset. I can understand it. But for me, I feel like Ultimate, I don't know. Honestly, don't ever have to play Smash 4 ever again. There's no reason to ever play Smash for Wii U, in my opinion.
I would agree with Smash 4. I feel like Smash Ultimate, once you have Ultimate, you don't need to play 4 anymore. I still see value in Brawl and Melee. Not Brawl's Online. Brawl's Online can go eat a dick, but Brawl itself, I think, has its own level of fun to it. Now, a case where I would agree with you, Juice, is probably Splatoon. For example, I have no need to play the first Splatoon ever at all. The second game has some of the same maps.
I think it has all of them now.
Yeah, it controls better. There's no reason to play the original Splatoon. I'm done with
reason, bitch. Oh, right there. I can just jump to you, just tap it on there. Yeah, that is a reason for me. I still like to play it on the Wii U.
Well, I thought of another example right too. Here. Super Street Fighter 2 came out. I rented it. I was all excited. I was like, wow, I can't wait. Another new Street Fighter. I didn't like how it felt. I went right back to Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I've never played Super Street Fighter 2 ever again in my life. And I played a shit ton more of Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And I've never played Street Fighter 3 or Alpha. I was content with Street Fighter 2.
That's kind of crazy.
I'm so content with Street Fighter 2 Turbo that I never felt the need to play any of the new ones. But yeah, I've never played.
No,
Broken.
I've never played Alpha. I've never played
Alpha.
3.
You haven't played Alpha?
Never
that's
played it.
crazy. That is crazy.
Oh my god!
I was so like, I guess I'm like a melee person when it comes to Street Fighter. I just love Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I was just dialed in with how that game felt.
There's a difference. There's a difference with that. You actually played melee and or games beyond melee.
Yeah, that's true.
Street Fighter, you haven't. I would be very surprised if you played Alpha and Alpha 2 and be like,
I would agree.
I'm good.
I
I would be very surprised.
I didn't really. I don't know if that has a combo system or not. I just like the basic fighting of But like I said, I can't truly tell you. But in my heart, I felt like I already had the best Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter experience.
Down in my heart.
But yeah, you're right. I didn't actually try them, so it's different.
Right.
It's different.
I think it would be that's different. Yeah.
But Mortal Kombat, I played 3. Mortal Kombat 3, I went right back to 2. I didn't like Mortal Kombat 3.
I see that. I can see that.
Mortal Kombat, I think, is a little bit more fair in that situation than.
But right now, if you told me,
I didn't love 3 either when I first played it.
If you told me I could play an arcade perfect version of Mortal Kombat 2 on the Switch or PS4 or whatever, I'd play that every day over Mortal Kombat X. I don't give a shit. I would pay for Mortal Kombat 2 versus the free version of Mortal Kombat X. I just don't. Sometimes I do understand why people stick to older games, but
you know the perfect example of this, Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah,
man, and I played 3. I haven't played Infinite, but I played 3. 3's not bad. 3's just different, but 2 just has something, yo. I can't even.
It just has the sauce. It's got the sauce, the secret sauce.
That fucking soundtrack is goated. Doesn't fit, but I fucking love it.
See you later, Donnie. By the way, see you, Donnie.
that should be slapping.
That's one of the few games that just has that fucking
sauce.
But
just getting back to like, honestly, I wasn't a huge Mario Kart 64 guy. Like I played Super Mario Kart well into the N64 generation, like well into it. We used to play split screen, time trials, all that. While we're playing we go from like Super Mario Kart to like GoldenEye. Like it just, I never transitioned to Mario Kart 64.
I didn't even like Mario Kart until Mario Kart 64.
Really?
Like I'm just being honest, throwing it out there.
I played all the handheld, I played Double Dash and Wii, and once Mario Kart 8 came out, it's like I'm good. Like I'm good with this game, even though I didn't know it was gonna be for 10 years. I would have to be good with that game, but I was just like, yeah, I'm good with this game. I don't need to play the old ones, like. The
one quick thing I did want to mention, since we were talking about Mario Kart 64 titles in general, the interesting case of them getting GoldenEye unbanned in Germany for whatever reason.
I know I forgot that. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up.
And I'm very curious. Does that mean Nintendo worked out the rights to get the ability to publish that game?
I don't know. Sony owns fucking
I want to say yes. No, not anymore. Sony sold it. Isn't it Paramount now?
Is it?
I think it's Paramount. Yeah.
Let's look. I'll look real quick. But yeah, I'm just very surprised that kind of came up out of nowhere.
No, I want to say yes. That's what it means. But this is Nintendo. And you don't know what the hell they be doing sometimes. That any other company be like, "Yep, it's coming. Mm-hmm. It's coming." That's what that means. But Nintendo, man, I don't know. They just do weird shit sometimes. I don't know. It's probably somebody just wanted unbanned for personal reasons, and they just did it. It means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Just this one guy wanted it unbanned in Germany.
Maybe they'll pull what they did with Tecmo Bowl, where they pulled all the names of the players and shit for the virtual console. What if they just pull the golden, just keep everything the same, but change the faces and the name, but keep everything else the same, the plot, the dialogue.
Okay, so they're saying Amazon owns it now.
Yeah, it is.
I know
Amazon.
Sony didn't own it anymore.
I just saw it. Amazon.
Well, who just paid for the last movie? I thought Sony.
No, that's Amazon. Bought it. Amazon bought it in May.
They bought it in May.
That movie was already made by then.
Yeah. Well, Sony still produced that one, put it out.
Yeah.
Going forward, it's Amazon's.
Yeah, Amazon just owns that IP
And then
now.
you got probably Pierce Brosnan have to get a little check, and everybody else that has a resemblance.
Yeah, because that's his likeness. So that's
Natalia,
the problem with this
Natasha.
game. They had a really nice remake they were working on during the 360 era, and it looked really good.
Well, do you ever
And,
see
you can
the?
actually still get it. I think you can
Well,
still
you can
download
get
it.
the on PC. There is the what they use the what's that very popular Counter-Strike? Is it Counter-Strike?
Yeah, it's Counter-Strike.
Or Source? Yeah, it's called GoldenEye Source, I believe, the Source engine.
Yeah,
and it's close to 1-to-1 recreation, but just with better visuals, and it's I've always been tempted to try to look it up, like to actually figure out how to play it.
That wasn't based on the remake they were working on. It's not based on.
I don't know. I don't know if it was a fan one.
It got leaked.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a fan.
I don't know if it's based on it, but it might have been.
GoldenEye Source. Let's see.
I know the source for that got leaked, so I don't know if
conversion mod developed using Valve Source engine. Came out in 2010. Okay. Jesus. It had a release trailer and everything. Let's watch this trailer. I'm gonna share it. Yeah, it looks fucking solid, man. It looks just like you'd expect a higher res version. Oh wait, I didn't go live yet.
It was like you didn't
there we
share.
Go.
I was gonna say I don't see shit.
It's 60 FPS and it's still very true to the original, but with just
Aztec
better lighting, and it's got the multiplayer maps. See, I mean, that just maybe some of the movement might be a little off. I don't know.
It's so weird to re-see these maps.
I don't know if the character animations and stuff are going to be the same, but
I know these fucking maps like the back of my fucking hand. It's just
some of them you had to really. It was challenging to unlock though.
Yeah, the Aztec level and
I unlocked that one. I know. All those slappers.
You just got to beat it on like
gun.
Yeah, slappers. You just got to beat it on 00.
It's funny. That's where the Terminator juice came from. We were in was it the library? This area.
I've seen this before, but it's still glorious.
We were in the facility or something. It was a level where it had bigger open rooms and then small rooms on the edges.
Yeah.
And we were playing grenade launchers only. And my buddy kept dying in the other room. Best. We were throwing grenade launchers and all this fire, and we had the one-hit kill on, and he kept dying. Yeah. He's like, "What the fuck is killing me?" Because he's on the other side of the wall. It was like a glitch because the flames were going through the wall. And my buddy just out of nowhere, just like, he was like, "What the fuck's killing me?" He's like, "It was the Terminator juice," and we just fucking all stopped.
That's where it was born, huh?
And we just fucking laughed for like 10 straight minutes. We were in tears. It was so freaking funny. And then we had this whole like couple week stretch where we were just doing Arnold, and we just kept everything was Arnold, and it was just it wore out after a while.
I will also say an underrated Bond multiplayer experience forgotten is fucking Nightfire. Nightfire's multiplayer was also really good.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people don't really talk about it because maybe they moved on, they were too old, or the GoldenEye guys usually they were like, they're out of school at that point, so they probably didn't play it as much. But me and my siblings, my cousin, we used to play Nightfire just like it was GoldenEye. Some of those maps, and we used to do the whole, rocket launchers only shit too. Hilarious, great fun.
Yeah, I never played that one. Was that GameCube?
You never played Nightfire? That's GameCube. Yeah, GameCube, PS2. Oh man, Nightfire was fire. Anybody in the chat? You with me? Nightfire.
Oh, I was wrong. That's not an Arceus trailer. It's a Brilliant Diamond and Pearl trailer. I was driving. I was in my car. I was looking down. I was looking down at my phone in my car trying to find a YouTube video to listen to. I ended up picking a live. What was it? I told you, T. That's what I would. Oh, it was Grace. It was talking about movies.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This game doesn't look as good as I feel they could have went with this art style. They could have pulled like a Link's Awakening.
Well, for me personally, I don't give a shit because I'm not buying that regardless. It's probably
Brilliant Diamond. Brilliant Diamond and whatever Pearl.
Oh, this is the live action one. Yeah.
I really feel like they could have done a Link's Awakening, like
They could have.
really awesome art style.
I don't know. This probably fits more.
They did the fucking
Maybe not the exact, but I just mean something a little more HD, like a little more.
Yeah.
Not clay, but like
it's like
diorama.
It's more cell shaded than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's because it's not like it's not as, I want to say jagged, but
I was
not
gonna say pixel
here's
pixel art kind of almost.
Yeah.
Sexual themes.
The irony is that comes out in Shin Megami Tensei. That comes out next week, by the way.
Yeah.
That's next.
You can't even buy this game till you play Dread.
I know. I gotta play some games, man.
I'm
in such a rut.
The funniest shit is when people got on Twitter and they're like, bruh, they took the UI from Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem and they put it in this game.
Did they?
If you look at when you get to the battle system, it's like the same damn UI, and I'm like,
it's a long trailer of not showing anything, that's for sure.
No,
I'm down with that.
Well, I think this one might be a story trailer, if I remember correctly. I'd still give this game credit for looking as good as it does, because I'm like, all right, it looks way better than I thought it was going to. Especially when you start getting in the gameplay stuff, which should be not. Yeah,
it looks good.
It looks very good. That's all Shin Megami Tokyo Mirage Session.
That's Tokyo Mirage Session for sure.
The only thing I don't like is I found out that they have like a fuck ton of DLC for it, and I was like, guys, don't play that game.
Of course it does.
And I'm looking at Atlas like, yo, buddy, don't do that. We don't need all that shit.
I'm not on the same page with you guys. I think this game's fairly ugly looking.
Really?
I don't mind the character I don't mind the character designs, but I don't know, man. That's not a very appealing looking game to my eyes.
It's very very
Shin Megami.
Yeah, it's very Shin Megami.
See, I don't mind the character designs and the animation or the art style for it, but just the backgrounds and stuff. It's just kind of looking.
That's Shin Megami Tensei, man. It's always kind of looked this way
because of the whole
this area just looks ugly. Like
really,
just like a yellow desert. It's a long trailer.
Well, if I remember right, it's like an overview trailer if I remember correctly. It's one of the few games I haven't like looked at too much plot shit for intentionally.
Yeah, I'm not doing. That's why I didn't even realize about the UI because I'm just not trying to see anything.
I've seen it in screenshots, but like people are just like, holy shit, the game comes out in like a week, and then the week. Okay, and then
I got to at least finish Dread this week. I will do that.
I know what it feels like because I was just doing my remodeling stuff, and I lost all will to like.
Yeah, my mind is all in the fucking house. It's like getting shit together with the house, like we're doing the basement and shit. Getting it ready.
Trying to be a responsible adult and shit.
My mind is right. Yeah, and being an irresponsible adult instead of playing video games. So it's kind of hard to.
What was I asking for? Errors for the N64 online. I don't even know what you're referring to.
Also, I forgot the GTA Trilogy comes out next week too. I forgot
about Ocarina of Time. No.
Or I don't know what I said that I thought they're gonna put in a bunch of effort for.
I don't.
I know he's joking, but I don't know what the reference is.
He's talking about GoldenEye.
Oh, you're talking about changing the faces. Yeah, I get you. Yep, I agree. They weren't gonna do it, but I said that's the only way they probably could do it.
Meanwhile, you got motherfuckers who modded this game and put fucking Sean Connery and everybody in that bitch. That's what was gonna be in the original one. They had Sean Connery and had all these faces. And Nintendo walked in and was like, what the fuck y'all doing, bro? We ain't paid for all these motherfuckers.
I'm going to jail. You better stop this shit.
Get Sean Connery out of here. We ain't paying him.
That's funny.
So some modders put him all back in and shit, which is cool.
GTA
Trail. Have we seen any like Switch footage yet?
I don't know. It comes out next week. So.
Let's look.
That's typical. No Switch footage yet.
Because some people are speculating that it's gonna be just the last gen
versions
without the remaster.
The cell phone versions.
or the cell phone version.
Damn.
Like I said, Demon Souls
I got a
wasn't
bad feeling.
remastered. It's just a 360 game, but they added the fast travel, whatever. They didn't actually do the remaster on the Switch. I mean, they mentioned the gyro aiming and stuff.
If it looks close to just as good as the other versions, I'll buy the Switch version digitally. I'm buying the stupid ass bullshit cart. Yeah. I ain't doing that shit.
What, I wonder
I'll
what's
just buy a
actually going to
digital
be on the
version and be
cart.
done.
He's in the back like, fuck that cart.
What do you think will actually be on the cart? The whole first of the the first game.
It might be one game. Yeah, it might
Yeah,
be
one. Yeah, I say one.
GTA 3 or something on there, and that's it.
Yeah. I'd be mad if it was two games.
Watch
and then
watch.
you put
This
the
is what
last
it looks
game.
like.
I'll be so pissed
Watch.
off.
This is what it looks like right here on the Switch.
It's on Switch. Oh, you bitch! You bitch! You a bitch for that one.
Is that 360? What is that?
No, I think
Oh,
this is PS2 or Xbox.
Is it,
That look-
I
that
can't,
look-
I can't
that
tell.
look-
My screen is tiny.
Oh no, that's
Okay, yeah.
This
No,
yeah,
that
this
animation
is the
looks pretty
fan
good. I
mod.
was
This
gonna
is a
say-
fan
I was
mod.
gonna say.
Damn, that looks
See,
good.
this
on
is what
Switch.
people are saying. Why did they block the original versions? Because they're probably worried that the fan mods will look better than the.
Well, I heard that people have said
Oh,
there are
they do.
going to. Some said that there are going to be some changes to fit a modern audience, which I don't.
Look, that looks
may or
like
may-
to me.
this-
If this was the
This is what
remaster.
would fit a modern audience.
If this was the remaster right here, I'd be like, yeah, that's good work. It's a fan
Yeah.
mod.
And it still retains the
The
feel.
look and feel, yeah. This Vice
Style,
City.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah,
So
the
looking at this now, I kind of understand where a lot of people are coming from. It's like, yeah, this actually looks pretty good.
So let's look at the.
the biggest. I think the only thing that really didn't age well on the older GTA's is the faces.
Mhm.
The faces look really bad, but that's like the only thing.
So where's the trailer that showed the differences?
Should
Have to
be
go download this
Right
shit.
here.
Yeah,
Look
Rockstar.
clean.
I
You doing
don't like
comparison?
when you look at the faces. It looks kind of the faces.
Like that
are
was
the
a
only-
big. That's a big change. If you look at the bushes and shit, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's a big change. Why is the closed captioning on? Fuck.
You cut it on, damn it.
It's that 4K shit.
You hit tab by mistake.
Some
look
of
at
it.
that. Look at that horizon back there. It looks pretty clean.
Some of it. Look at the faces. Up.
I told you. I
Yeah.
told you. The faces.
that
are
looks
the-
PS2
good.
faces, man. Those PS2 faces.
Is
They
that
want- they
that
cut the
doesn't look that
faces.
much.
That's a weird color.
Looks pretty good.
choice.
That definitely
looks
looks
better.
better. That one's.
Yeah.
That looks better.
Some of it's a little less noticeable.
Well, it all looks better. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not the faces.
That looks good. The lights from the.
I don't think you can fix those faces. They
No,
kinda
that's
look
like
just-
No,
Twilight
It's
Princess.
super cartoony.
There ain't fixing no Twilight Princess faces either.
They just made it more cartoony faces
Yeah.
because you couldn't go realistic with it.
No.
That was.
See
I
that
have
to
no
me
spoiler.
that's got to be. They're showing the best case scenario there. That's PS5, PC, or Xbox Series X.
Yeah,
What's
that's
the
not
s-
Switch.
The Switch. I'll be very curious. Oh, that's
Well, remember,
Switch
well,
is gonna
remember-
be the PSP versions.
Well,
I don't care about Grand Theft Auto,
Liberty
but
City Stories.
I'm gonna click on that Digital Foundry video so fast just because I want to know, are they putting out a full version, a real version of this remastered on Switch, or are they pulling some bullshit?
I'd humor it just I would buy it if it's at least decent. All right, fine.
What if
you'll
it?
I'll
get
buy
my
it
money if
physically
it-
on Xbox, and I'll buy it digitally on Switch if they put in work.
What if it's just like that first version we saw, but just higher resolution? Nothing
You mean the
else.
cell phone? Oh no, the PS2
The
version.
PS2 version with higher, just 1080p native.
We already got that. We got that with the cell phone versions. Is basically that.
Yeah, pretty much.
So basically that, maybe 60
Yeah.
FPS.
with
but-
gyro and touchscreen, which kind of confuses
Gyro
me.
and touchscreen, which that's cool. Those are some good features.
Yeah, I don't mind that. It's just it's
Especially
weird.
for
Because,
wonky ass GTA controls.
well, it's also weird because you're only putting that on the Switch version. That's not on the PS4 version. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why do they put gyro in the control? No one I mean, Sony uses it sparingly, but it's like, why not?
It's there. Use it.
Yeah, it's weird when you put it in like when it's a multi-plat game and it's coming to Switch and
How are you going to build
PlayStation.
an audience of people using gyro if you never add it to games? I mean, even
I don't think they want to acknowledge it as much.
I
Honestly.
keep saying Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West would be better for it. The aiming. I mean, it would just be significantly better.
But I just said some of them have fingers and not Powerpuff Girl hands.
Yeah.
Some of them still do have. It's weird because some people still do have the Powerpuff Girl hand. So
that's why
some don't.
This kind of
it's weird,
kind of related, kind of not. But you know, you guys know I like you know, games where I'm playing as a female, you know, attractive characters in games and stuff. The N64 generation, I didn't have any crushes, any game crushes. I couldn't do it with those, just the polygons, you know.
I wonder why. Yeah, I'm about to say.
I know some people, I've heard people say, oh, I had a crush on someone, you know, this character.
I had a crush on Lara Croft.
See, I mean, it wasn't till the 360 that I really...
Well, you got to understand, it wasn't Lara Croft in game.
It was a cutscene,
like cutscene and like the images and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Like you can see in magazines and shit. That's what it was.
Yeah, because I mean, and
games, she got triangle titties.
Mm-hmm.
It was blocky. It ain't right.
Listen, we don't discriminate on titties size. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Shape, we might though.
Hey, listen. All shapes.
They were cones. If anybody's seen The Wedding Singer, I always think of that.
Oh, God.
They were cones. But anyway, with that,
polygonal chesticles ain't cool.
Yeah, it's hard to get excited about that stuff.
Remember, if it only has 3 sides, it ain't cool. You gotta be three. You gotta be 3D in this bitch.
It's just like you know, back in the day, early 2000s. They were trying. That's when they were trying some. I don't know if they were trying, but that's when I was realized there was like hentai and stuff. And I know this is completely random, but some of that early CG hentai, it's like, come on, no one can actually get off on this. Like, it's so bad.
You say that, and you're wrong.
I know, but it's like
somebody did.
Right, like somebody could make that with Flash animation today, like in seconds. You know, some of the stuff was just like ridiculous.
I'm not saying a thing because I wasn't even aware of hentai until like 2009.
I don't know the exact day. I just know the first iteration.
Yeah, but you're also younger than us, so
yeah.
Yeah, I got about a decade. Yeah,
you know, it was like
so that would make sense.
The animation was basically like sliding like frames, like a still image.
Wait.
Try to watch that shit on the internet. It's buffering. It's slow as fuck.
Wait, what are they making?
It's like somebody took
flip note. It's like flip note porn.
I mean, it's just there's been some. It's come a long way. We'll say that. But I never understood that shit. I'm like, really? There's nothing here. Like, you got to use your imagination. Like,
that's like flip book porn.
That ain't fucking Lara Croft. That's
Oh yeah, well I forgot about DOA. Thank you, Visor. DOA characters, no.
Oh no, DOA. Yeah, we fuck with DOA. I fuck.
And
with
what
DOA.
about Taki? Like
I will say on Dreamcast.
Soul Calibur.
Dreamcast,
okay, you
for
say
sure.
Okay.
Dreamcast, where I was like, damn, like Zhang Fua or whatever.
Great Fairies for Ocarina of Time.
Yo, jeez. That's a scary broad there. That shit was scary.
They don't look good now. They don't even look good now.
Exactly. But when you were that young, that's all you had for what do they call it? Titillizing or what's that word? That's all you had.
The JCPenney catalog.
So you didn't have much. Exactly. So it didn't take much. Some crazy looking fairy lady with you can almost see stuff.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, I would say the Dreamcast was when it first started being like, all right, you know, they're starting to look like
what's her name? In Soul Calibur, the goth chick.
Oh, Ivy.
Ivy. Oh, come on.
Sophitia, come on.
Oh no, listen, Ivy was a problem.
Bruh.
But
yeah,
Soul Calibur 6, so that's that's a different story. But anyway, we'll end on this note.
Damn.
If somebody picks up GTA and plays it next week, maybe we can get some hands-on, or there'll be some videos of it. I'm just very curious. Because back in the day, the Call of Duties would come to Wii, and they wouldn't show them. The only time you'd see them is when people would upload videos of it. They'd like, oh, the game, I went and picked up Call of Duty, like, what was his name? Who was the big Wii Call of Duty guy? Built this whole channel.
Icon,
yeah. Icon Boy or something. That's the only time you'd know what it looked like. And sometimes, like Black Ops 1, you're like, damn, it looks really close to the 360. Like, why wouldn't you show that? Why wouldn't you try to sell that?
Because Call of Duty players don't play on Nintendo systems.
Oh boy, it's Twin Rover.
Twin Rover?
Bugging that. Twin Rover. The two sisters together.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, we'll be back next week.
Oh my goodness!
Maybe we can talk about the second generation of CGI porn.
All right, one more. Gruntilda, when she took over your sister's body. Hey, Gruntilda was flying in the road. He was like, sorry, sis, I'll take Gruntilda. she came out of that the fly machine looking good.
To be fair, I didn't see that until maybe like a few years ago, and I saw the game over. I saw the game over screen. I went,
that game over screen was.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is that? Hold up, Miss.
What generation?
Is not so bad. That was N64.
Really?
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie.
What about Ocarina of Time Zelda? Was she okay? I can't.
She existed.
Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't say she would. No, she wouldn't really.
No.
She went.
I know Impa wasn't nothing. Was nothing to look at.
Oh,
Impa was ugly.
She looked like a foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't anything to look at really in Ocarina for us.
No.
The ladies go.
No.
All right. Well, we'll get out of here, and hope everybody had a good Halloween. We didn't talk about anything related to that. I watched some movies, Hocus Pocus, and
I rewatched
Sleepy
Batman
Hollow.
89.
You watched Batman?
89.
That had a Halloween.
That's a good Halloween movie.
Yes, sir.
Last year I watched the Harry Potter trilogy, the Harry Potter movies for Halloween. You know, in that whole month, I watched The Shining, Doctor Sleep, which was good, but it just went on too long.
Because you fell asleep.
Sleepy Hollow last night. No, I actually stayed up. That thing was like almost 3 hours, the director's cut. But I watched Sleepy Hollow for the first time since before Harry Potter, because I didn't know Dumbledore was in the movie.
Holy crap!
Because I would have known if Dumbledore was in it if I had watched it since the third Harry Potter movie. So I hadn't watched it. It came out in '99. I didn't look to see.
99.
I didn't look.
99 was an amazing movie year.
I could be wrong because I know I watched it in this house. It was probably the Halloween of 2008. It was probably the last time I watched Sleepy Hollow. And it's actually a really good movie. I would say, honestly, it's probably, in my opinion, the best adaptation of an animated... I mean, it was a short, but of any animation to live action, I think it's probably the best one in my opinion. I think they really nailed it with that movie. Johnny Depp was actually really, really good as Ichabod. And Christina Ricci, we talked about. She's in it. And that's worth watching right there. But yeah, I had had Dumbledore, the second Dumbledore. Dudley's dad was in that movie.
Some people didn't know they even changed them.
Yeah,
that's the way.
But I really enjoyed that. That's a good movie, and I have it on DVD. I watched it on DVD.
Was it Richard Harris?
He was the first one.
He was
I don't think he was a great Dumbledore, to be honest. I didn't think he fit, but after reading the books, I was like, yeah, that was kind of weird. But anyway, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Yeesaw.
Make sure we're